Martin Luther King Jr. Growing up in the South, each January people in the United States celebrate Martin Luther King Day. The- We honor the great leader who fought for the equality of all people. Who was this man? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929. His father was a minister and his mother was a teacher. In the South, where King grew up, white leaders created unfair laws known as Crow, Jim Crow laws. Jim Crow laws. These laws robbed black people of many rights. They also kept black people and white people segregated or separated. Many places such as schools, bathrooms, parks and bus train waiting rooms were segregated. Often the places for black people were not as nice or as clean as places uh, for those for white people. Black people also couldn't live in white neighborhoods or marry a white person. They couldn't have certain jobs were paid less than white workers. As King grew up, he saw how these laws hurt black people. He wanted to help black people gain full equality. King goes to school. King was a good student. At age 15, he started college in Atlanta, Georgia. He decided to become a minister like his father. He moved north and studied religion. While there, King learned about Mohandas Gandhi, a leader in India. Gandhi believed in using peaceful protest to help people. King decided that he would use nonviolence too. After King finished school, he and his wife moved to Montgomery, Alabama. He became a minister there. The Montgomery bus boycott. In May 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court said the school could no longer be segregated by race. Black people hoped this would lead to dis- desegregation of other places. Many white people in the South supported segregation, though. In December 1955, a black woman named Rosa Parks was riding home by a city bus in Montgomery. By law, black people had to sit at the back of the bus. They were expected to give up their seat to a white person if asked. Park knew this was unfair. When a white man asked for her seat, she wouldn't move. A police arrested her. Black people in Montgomery were upset about Park's arrest. They called for a boycott to protest segregation on city buses. They started an organization to lead the protest and but put King in charge. Montgomery Montgomery city bus riders were black. The city lost a lot of money during the boycott. Still, white city leaders refused to listen to protesters. The protesters The protesters didn't give up; the boycott continued over a year. Finally, in December 1956, segregation on city buses became illegal. The protest was successful; it showed that change was possible. It helped King become a well-known leader in the civil rights movement. The Birmingham protest, segregation, and violence against black people continued in the South. White people who wanted segregation bombed the house of black leaders, including King. This didn't stop King. In 1957, he and other black leaders formed a civil rights organization. As president of the organization, King traveled and spoke about civil rights. In April 1963, King went to Birmingham, Alabama to help organize a protest against segregation. Hundreds of people were arrested during the peaceful protest, including King. Black leaders raised money to get the protesters out of jail. During another march the next month, protesters were stopped by police. The police used fire hoses and attacked dogs. Many of the protesters were badly hurt. Hundreds were arrested. When people across the country heard about what happened to the protesters, they were angry. Black leader and city leader made a deal. A week later, Birmingham had to desegregate. Many white people still wanted segregation, though, and the fight for civil rights continued. In 1965, violence broke out during a peaceful protest in Selma, Alabama. Leaders were working to sign up black voters there. Although black people had the right to vote, white officials often kept them from doing so. On March 7, 1965, helped plan a march from Selma to Montgomery to protest how black voters were treated. King led marchers, but they didn't get far before police attacked them. 3 weeks later, the protesters marched again. This time, members of the U.S. Army sent by the president protected the protesters. On August 6, 1965, the president signed the Voting Rights Act into laws. It protected the right of all people of color to vote. King Memorial. In 1968, King traveled to Tennessee to support the worker protest. While there, a white man shot and killed him. King died on April 4th. People around the world were shocked and sad about his death. In 2011, a memorial opened in Washington, D.C. to honor King. People from all over the world visit the memorial. They remember this great man as the work toward justice and equality for all people continues.